Hello everyone. In today's short series, I am going to talk about ways in which we can understand and embrace tensions and how useful reflexivity and reflection is in dealing with these tensions. So often working with research groups that include faculty and students coming from different disciplinary backgrounds can be challenging. But in the same time, this can be an enriching experience for all participants. And we see more people talking about interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary teams as something very popular. But as with any type of groups, a minimal guidance is needed about ways to improve team effectiveness and a good working environment. So when it comes to teams, we know that teams can foster a high level of conceptual thinking than can individuals who are working alone, which ultimately improves the process of research. More people means different perspectives, less bias, and especially when we talk about multidisciplinary teams, the research process can result in exciting and diverse outcomes. However, often these tensions really emerge from exactly these different opinions and ideas that the team members are sharing in their collaborative process. And the type of conflict the team members experience and the way they manage it are critical to the successful collaboration. Sometimes there is that tension between not wanting to offend anyone's sensibilities and at the same time trying to handle the process and the data in the most honest way possible. In this case, team members must be able to differentiate between conflict that is task-focused and then the conflict that is interpersonal or relationship-focused. The task conflict is really determined by differences in opinions or perception of the tasks that the team must complete. On the other hand, relationship or interpersonal conflict may include personality differences, frustration, and hostility between group members. So how are we going to engage with tension? And how can we make it a source of positive energy, strength, and creativity in diverse groups like ours? Well, one way of doing this is by being aware of the different components of interaction. And I recall a few that I consider most important, and I saw them practiced by some of my colleagues throughout the years. There is not really a specific order in practicing these interaction mechanisms. So, for example, giving people the courage for independent thinking by removing internal competition and encouraging them to really express their ideas and opinions. Offering equal turns to think and to speak out. For some people, it's easier to be vocal, but we should really encourage everyone to contribute and allow everyone to express their ideas and thoughts, regardless if these ideas are in contradiction with other people's views or opinions. Attention plays an important role, so listening with respect and without interruption what others have to say in our group helps people to feel quite empowered and worthy. Allowing feelings to be shown and allowing sufficient emotional relief to restore thinking is important. Appreciation over criticism. So there's a lot of research suggesting that positive interaction leads to better performance in diverse teams. And even if we just express simple positive comments like, that's a good idea, instead of, I don't agree with you, helps to really improve the team dynamics. Critique is obviously a valuable skill, but unless is balanced by appreciation and practiced carefully, it can deflate and discourage people rather than inspiring them to contribute. Creating a physical environment that says you matter the same way as we all do, so creating a safe place is really important, and then ensuring the divergent thinking and the diversity, the different group identities. We should appreciate the plurality of ideas and these different opinions. And this is how teams a lot of the times complement each other by making sure that everyone is good at something and that ultimately everyone contributes in achieving a common goal. And in order to be aware of these components of interaction, we should first understand and practice reflexivity and reflection as two important thinking mechanisms. And so what reflexivity does, it really emphasizes an awareness of the researcher's own presence in the research process. And you as a researcher, you create worlds through the different questions you are asking, together with what we and others regard as reasonable responses. And what we need to understand is that there are two aspects important. The first is the fact that the researcher is part of the setting, of the context, and of the social phenomenon being studied. And the second is really the process of self-reflection of one's own biases, preconceptions, and predispositions. Once we understand that these are part of the reflexivity, we can ask from ourselves the following questions. So what are my own assumptions and experiences? How does my values and beliefs affect my approach to the research I am doing? And people who do fieldwork are often encouraged to write down and explore these dispositions and questions in their personal notes, in their field journals. Unfortunately, you don't have the opportunity to be out in the field, but nevertheless, you are collecting online data, and therefore you go through the same reflexivity process, or at least you should. Reflexivity helps to improve the quality of the research and offers a broader and more expansive understanding of these different things around us. And to take a reflexive approach in research requires us to become aware of this as much of this it requires us to become aware of as much as possible. And the group approach requires both individual reflexivity and the group reflexivity with a dialogue between these two. So it's important that you don't just practice reflexivity individually, but also discuss these different perceptions and ideas within your group. So we say that reflexivity is part of this onto-epistemological philosophy. And both ontology and epistemology are philosophical fields or approaches. And what ontology and epistemology mean, just to give you a brief definition, so ontology refers to what sort of things are exist in the world and in the social world, and what is the nature of the social reality. While epistemology is concerned with the nature of knowledge and the ways of knowing and learning about that particular social reality in which we are interested in. So what comes after reflexivity and after realizing what are our own personal beliefs and experiences is the reflection process. And this comes as a result of interaction, as a result of the interaction between our value systems and the way we want to approach our research. And of course, there's a thin line between these reflexivity and reflection components, because this requires an iterative process going back and forth several times during the research. While reflexivity is about self-awareness and introspection, reflection is about thinking of the practical implications of doing research. And we ask questions about what theories we should use to inform our research, what tools or methods are appropriate to research this phenomenon, what data I need, and so on. So I encourage you to try and practice reflexivity individually and as part of your group, as well as reflection, as both can help you to understand the potential source of tension and conflict within your team. And finally, please be mindful of the different components of interaction and try to apply these as often as possible. So I hope you'll find this video useful, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get back to me. Thank you.